video right now recording that I'm going to be going over our agenda for the Friday 8/14 or August 14th day. And then we'll be starting into reviewing our spiral math. So this will be both our morning meeting and reviewing our spiral math from yesterday. Let's go ahead and get started like we always do with our Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence. I'll go ahead and face my flag right here. It's probably just a little screen right now, so let me get it a little bit bigger. Let me let Jacob in, just coming on in. Let me go ahead and get it bigger so you can see it. And then Jace P, it looks like we're having some troubles with our connection because I know we keep dropping out. So I'll record this video so that you can review it later on if you miss anything. Let's start with our pledge, preamble, and moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we'll start with our preamble to the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted amongst men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. We'll have our moment of silence. And then we'll go ahead and begin our day. I'd like to go ahead right now and share our agenda for Friday, August 14th. And we'll go ahead and pull this up right now so you can see it. I want to apologize. I was a little bit late on today's agenda, so you may have just gotten it. And we'll go over it so there's no confusion. But check your emails after we're done if you haven't seen it yet. And this will give you all the links you need and all the places to go today for all the assignments that we're doing. Let's go ahead and get started. Oops. Yeah, there we go. Let's go ahead and get started. Today, first of all, we have our class morning meeting, which we're doing right now. We're going to review yesterday's spiral math. That means I'd like you to have Thursday's spiral math ready to go and on your desk so we can check it together. We're going to go over that together today as a class. Then after we do that, we're going to be giving you some time to start Friday's spiral math. I'm scheduling that for about 8:35 today. We may go a little bit later with our reviewing the spiral math. That's okay. I do want to give you some time during the whole day to work on spiral math. So if you don't get it done during the time I give you, if it's a little bit short especially, use the other time you have in the day to finish your spiral math for Friday. Then we're going to be going in at 9 a.m. today to another live Teams meeting. We're going to go over yesterday's math homework, 1.4, and then we're going to introduce the Check My Progress quiz. We'll talk about that quiz during our 9 a.m. team meeting. After checking the homework today, we're going to give you I'll give you directions on how to complete the Check My Progress quiz. And I had a warning here, but I guess I'm taking it off. Don't do the Check Your Progress quiz until you've actually listened to the directions. We've had some issues with once in a while students, and I won't name any names on this one, but we've had students who go ahead and start the assignment and then all of a sudden they see the directions and they're like, oh, can I redo that again? And you want to avoid that kind of extra having to do it over again. I appreciate that you want to work ahead. I appreciate that you want to get things done. But sometimes it's really important to hear the directions for the assignment first so you get it done correctly. So I do want to advise you that you want to wait until you check the directions here. After 9:30, I'm going to give you a chance to work on the Check My Progress quiz. And again, here's that warning. Do not take the Check My Progress quiz until you have listened to the directions. You can download the quiz here, but avoid having to do some extra work or have to change things around or maybe just being confused. Don't do the Check My Progress quiz until you have listened to the directions. Super important. At 10 a.m. today, we're going to have our live Teams meeting again for the daily dictation test. This test is based on the sentences that you've been writing down for the last couple days since Monday. We're going to do another dictation, and then instead of writing that dictation down on your paper, well, you can still write it down on your paper. I want you to do that. But instead of just me correcting it with you, I'm going to ask you to type in what you wrote into this link. And again, don't take the test until you listen to the dictation because you won't know actually what sentence you need to type in. It's going to be a mixture of all the words that we used in other sentences. So don't take the dictation test until you've listened to the directions at our 10 a.m. live meeting. Gabby, what's your question?
Never mind.
Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at our 10:30 section of our Lives team meeting. After we're done with giving you some time to work on your dictation, at 10:30, I'm going to be doing what's called a summary shout out. The summary shout out, Ms. Church is looking over our summaries, and we're going to go ahead and look at the flip grids today and find a couple that we're going to shout out as like, wow, these are really good. We want to try to get some screen shares. We're going to keep them kind of anonymous. Well, hopefully just show the picture of the summary. If you want to be proud and say, hey, that's mine, Mr. Yates, you could do that. You're not required to, but I just want to point out some of the ones that I think, and Ms. Church and I think, are really good and have really done a good job of matching the summary with the picture. So we'll take a look at those. After we do a summary shout out, I'm going to ask you to tell me your answers to the City of Ember question of the day for Chapter 3. If you've read Chapter 3 by now, you should have answered your question of the day for Chapter 3 in the City of Ember. And during our team's meeting, we're going to be picking on some people at random to tell us your answers. I'd like to know what you thought Dune's talent was and how you know that. So we'll be doing that at the 10:30 live meeting. At 11 a.m., I'm going to give you time for lunch. So it'll be 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. is our lunch recess time. At 12 p.m. today, after lunch, we're going to have another Lives team meeting. Today's team's meeting, we're going to be doing something a little new today for history. Today, I know we went in the last couple days, we were going to the Jamestown Museum to get you a little bit of background about Jamestown, a little interest in it. What we'd like you to do now is there's a video about what happened at Jamestown, which is pretty interesting. It kind of takes you to a recreation of the Jamestown fort and colony, and you'll see and hear from what we call historical interpreters that tell you a little bit about what happened at Jamestown. When you're done watching the video, there is a video quiz I would like you to take. That quiz is what's called a comprehension quiz, and it just helps me to know what you guys have understood about the video and helps you to make sure that you are watching it carefully and attentively so you can answer the questions in the quiz. After I introduce the video and the quiz, at 12:15, I'm going to give you time to watch the Jamestown video and complete the video quiz. I'm going to give you a warning right here, boys and girls. If you watch the video quiz before we introduce, or watch the video before I tell you about the video quiz, you won't be able to take the video quiz. It's set to go on only at 12 noon today. So you'll have you can see the video quiz, but actually can't see it. It'll just say, hey, wait, come back at 12 noon. So don't take the video quiz until after 12 noon today, because that's when it'll be ready for you to work on. So if I were you, I would definitely watch the Jamestown video quiz watch the video once the video quiz is ready to go. That way you won't forget and you will know exactly what to do. Let's go on. At 1 p.m. today, after we give you some time to work on the video and the video quiz, I'm going to invite you to come to our next live Teams meeting. We're going to be introducing our Friday Minecraft build. I know some of you were able to join. Only a small number of people were able to join on last week's Minecraft video, our Minecraft build, only about 6 kids. I was talking to Miss Lawrence, and she told me some ways that we might be able to make this successful. So I have a new way we're going to run our Minecraft server today. And I think that'll enable more kids to get on because they had big success up in 6th grade with their last Minecraft build. So we're going to try that with us here. In order to do that, I'm going to introduce our Minecraft build at 1 to 1:30, give you all the, tell you what it's all about, what you're going to be doing on it, remind you about some of the rules about being in Minecraft. And then we're going to have a break where I go and get Minecraft server set up. And then at 2 o'clock today, we're going to be, or shortly before 2 o'clock today, I'm going to be giving out join codes. Those are the codes that I sent out that give you the code so you'll be able to sign into the Minecraft server. I've got my fingers crossed today that today you'll be able to get in because it's a lot of fun and I want everybody who's able to be able to get into the Minecraft build. Now, I did say here, this is an optional assignment today. That means that if, there's going to be some people who are not able to get onto Minecraft for whatever reason, and that's why I don't make it like a required graded assignment. These are going to be optional activities, and it's a lot of fun, and it's optional though. So if you can't make it, I understand, but if you can, please do join us. We're going to then, that'll be the end of our day for Friday. So that's our agenda for today. We have a lot of stuff to do and a lot of fun stuff. So I want to get started right away with our spiral math. Aiden, do you have a question?
I wasn't on the last one. Are you going to talk about if we're able to, are we able to chat on Minecraft?
I'll talk about all that, Aiden, at our introductory meeting. So I'll answer all those questions then for you.
Okay.
Chase, we have a question? Let's go ahead now, and I'd like you to get your spiral math out from yesterday. So while I'm going ahead and doing that right now, I'd like you to go ahead and get your spiral math out. While I'm pulling it up, make sure you have your spiral math. If you're joining us on the video link today, we're going over the spiral math in this part of the video for Wednesday, or not Wednesday, but for Thursday, August 13th. So I'm going to pull that up right now. I'm also going to have my dot camera ready to go on the side here. And then I am going to, today what I want to do is spark up some people to tell me what your paper should have on it, because I want to, instead of me telling me, I want people to tell me, what are some things I need on this spiral math paper so I know I have it correctly formatted? Carter, you want to help me out?
Number 1.
That's good. We definitely have number 1 on there.
Right.
What are some other things we need to have on this paper to be ready for spiral math?
On the top right,
what's that, Carter?
On the top right, put your name and date.
Okay, thanks, Carter. I'm going to go ahead and ask some other people some other parts too, but that's exactly right too. We want our name, and I'm going to go ahead and just zoom this in so you can see. We're going to make sure our name is there, and we're going to have yesterday's date on it because this is not today's spiral math, it's yesterday's. Your spiral math should be already done. You're just checking it. I'm writing it for you so you can kind of see what it's supposed to look like. Okay, what else do we need on here? Allison, you want to tell me what we need? Allison, Allie, are you there? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. On the left side, put spiral math for Thursday.
Got it. Good job. So I'm going to put spiral math Thursday. Great. Okay. There's one more thing I haven't done yet here. Everyone's giving me a lot of things. There's one more thing I want to do, kind of giving you a major clue. What is that one more thing I need to do right now? Go ahead. Chase P. Could you go ahead and tell me what else you're supposed to do?
Answer and work.
Yeah, you got it. I'm going to fold my paper down the side like a hot dog, so I have my answer and work side. That keeps it nice and neat so that my answers are separated from my work. It's easier for me and you to check your work and to check your answers without getting all mixed up together. So draw your line straight down. Great. All right, guys, great. We're going to start with number 1. Annabelle, do you have a question?
Yeah, so I was looking at on the agenda, and you wrote the 5th one twice, but you just wrote the number 5 twice, but you wrote 2 different questions, so now there's 9 questions. I was supposed to do all 9.
Yeah, and I forgot to fix that typo on that one. Yeah, we'll do them all. And every year I have that paper, and I always say I'm going to fix it, and then I always forget. But yeah, we'll just do them all. Okay, Allison? Or who's that? All right, we're going to move. Or Annabelle, I'm sorry, you were the one who asked that question, Annabelle. Let's go ahead and we'll get started. Let's take a look at number 1. And I'm glad you noticed that. I've got some good eagle eyes here today on our spiral math. I'm going to zoom in so it's a little bit easier for us to see. All right. On number 1, could you tell me what we're doing for number 1? Hunter. What's number 1? Hunter, make sure you unmute your microphone. I know you're here. I thought you were here. Maybe you might have gotten. I know you got it. Oh no, you're here. Hunter, you want to mute your microphone and join in for me? Tell me what we're doing for number 1. Okay, boys and girls, if you're having any connection problems, email me and let me know. Otherwise, make sure you unmute your microphone, be at the computer if you're there to hear the what I'm asking. So let's go ahead and pick someone else.
Jace T.
Jace T, go ahead and unmute your mic and tell me what we're doing for number 1. Okay, boys and girls, I want to remind you that if you're not having trouble with your mic, this is going to be a way for me to know whether you guys are here. So make sure that I can hear you as soon as I call you out. So just in case. So we're going to pick some more people. It's really important that I'm able to hear you, or I'm able to hear you when you respond, so I know that you're able to hear me and that you're watching and doing your spiral math with us together. Okay, who's someone else?
Jacob.
Jacob, hopefully you got your mic ready to go. I know we're having some connection issues with Jason. We'll let him in. Jacob, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, Jacob, you know what to do.
I chose
No, Jacob,
B1.
you're going to tell me what the answer. You're going to tell me the answer. You're going to read what the problem is for me, please.
Choose the best estimate for the weight of an adult whale.
Right, we're going to choose the best estimate for the weight of an adult whale. So what I'd like you to do is I would like you to go ahead now and give me an idea of the answer sentence that we're going to need. So what I'd like you to do is give me an answer sentence that you would use for this one. Jack, do you want to tell me an answer sentence that we would use here? Let me move it down so you can see the answer sentence. It's kind of blocked my dock camera. Okay, what would you say, Jack?
The estimate of an adult whale is blank.
Yeah, even better, you might want to add in the words like the weight of an adult whale and the best estimate. So I think it's a good start on that. I just add a little bit more. I would add in here the best. I'm going to zoom in on my spiral math here. So I make sure, boys and girls, you have the words the and best estimate for the weight. And we really want to have the word weight in there because that actually is what we're talking about. The weight of an adult and whale is, and then we'll leave it blank for our answer. Use the red pen or red marker or red crayon that you have to check your work with. And I want you to check mark these words to make sure that you have them. It's really important that you do so that you know that you're saying the answer sentence correctly. You want to check mark best. You want to check mark estimate, weight, adult, and whale. And be really careful with the word weight. We don't want to invent that spelling or guess what it is. Since it's actually in the problem, just spell it the way it's shown in the problem, spelled this way. Now let's take a look at our problem again. So our answer sentence is the best estimate for the weight of an adult whale is. Now what we're going to do is we're going to choose which one of these answers make the most sense in the answer sentence. So let's go ahead and Miss Church, could you go ahead and pick somebody to give us an answer for that one? Mike, do you want to read the answer sentence and then complete the answer sentence with your answer?
The best estimate for the weight of an adult whale is 120,000 pounds.
That is correct. The best estimate for the weight of an adult whale is 120,000 pounds. So make sure, boys and girls, that you're going to write that in your answer sentence like the way Mike described it. And I want to go ahead and just put my dock camera back here so you can see what we're talking about here. We want to use that right here inside of our answer sentence right here. So we're going to say the best estimate for the weight of adult whale is 120,000 pounds. And I want to make sure I have the word pounds in there. Thank you, Mike. I'm going to put number 2. We're going to move on. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 2. Let me move this down here so it's easier to see. And we're going to ask the following person to tell me what the next 3 terms in the sequence are and then describe the pattern. Go ahead. What's that? Okay, tell me what we're doing.
You're adding 1 and then you're subtracting 4.
Kate.
Yeah?
So I want you to read the words that you see on the screen here. What are we going to be doing for this problem? So I underline it for you.
Write the next 3 terms in the sequence and describe the pattern.
You got it. Jason, did you have a question? I saw your hand up a second there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just make sure, boys and girls, if you don't have your microphone muted, make sure you do so that we don't hear extra sounds. So you're right, Kate. We're going to write the next 3 terms of the sequence and describe the pattern. Here's the answer sentence I would like you to do here. I want you to write this. The next. Make sure you have these words written on your. Make sure you have your mic muted, boys and girls, unless you have your hand raised. The next 3, and let me just show this in here better. So make sure you have the words. The next 3 terms in the sequence are, and then that should be your answer sentence for this first part. So we're going to click on next, check 3, check terms, check sequence. Make sure all those words are also spelled correctly. Chase P, do you have a question?
I didn't say your answer sentence, but I said the pattern is.
That's actually the second part of this, Chase. The second part is to describe the pattern. The first part of this is to tell me what the next 3 terms in the sequence are. So there's actually 2 parts to this question. The first part is to tell me what the next 3 numbers are, which are called terms, in the sequence, which is the list of numbers that we see. So let's take a look. Right here, we are going to start by completing our answer sentence by telling me the next 3 terms that are listed here. So you're going to be answering the next 3 terms in the sequence are blank. Well, I have to say blank, but tell me the actual next 3 numbers. Gabby, you have a question?
Yes, I was wondering because I didn't put that sentence. It was almost like not at all.
Okay, next time, or if you can fit it in, just add this in here. The next 3 terms in the sequence are.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead and pick somebody to tell us what are what the next 3 terms in the sequence are. Annabelle, do you want to go ahead and unmute and tell me what the next 3 terms in the sequence are?
The next 3 terms are 30, 31, and 27.
So 30, I'm going to write down 30, 31,
And then 27.
and 27. So just to make sure I know that's correct, Annabelle, I want you to tell me the next part. I'm going to go ahead and show you right here. I want you to put here as the next part of this, and I'm going to see if you guys agree or if you think this is the correct pattern. We're going to write the words, the pattern is, so that's our second answer sentence. The pattern is, and then we're going to add the pattern. What is the pattern? Now, you can say this in a lot of different ways, so don't worry if you didn't say it exactly the way this person's going to say it. You could say it different ways with it. So what's someone who can tell me the pattern?
Derek.
Derek, do you want to tell me what the pattern is here in the sequence?
Add 1, subtract 4, add 1, subtract 4, add 1, subtract 4.
Verb is order in the action.
Got it. You got it. So we're going to go, the pattern is add 1, subtract 4. If you put like a plus sign and 1, you can do that too, and a minus sign and 4, you wrote the numbers out. That's okay too. I'm just writing the words out. So I'm going to use what Derek said here. The pattern is add 1, subtract 4. And that is our pattern. So go ahead and make sure you have the word pattern here. You do at least want to mention that it's talking about adding one, and then you also want to talk about how it's subtracting one. So you could show with a minus sign or a plus sign. That's fine too. All right, great job, Derek. Thank you. Let's take a look at number 3. Number 3 is finding the unknown number. And I guess I was going to have someone read it, but I guess I already read it. So we're going to find the unknown number. We're going to put number 3 right here. We're going to put a blank. Make sure you have that blank. And then I want to make sure what I've got. I'm going to put equals, or put blank millimeters equals 9 centimeters. So I'd love to see what answer you got for that. So read the whole thing across when you're on there. And make sure, boys and girls, you raise your hands. Or actually, just wait and unmute until I call you. So go ahead and, Ms. Church, who could we tell me the answer for?
Jason.
Jason, you want to tell me the answer for this? Tell me the entire answer all the way across. So blank millimeter, or whatever you're going to say, equals 9 centimeters.
Wait, hold on. Can you say that again?
Jason, I want you to take a look at what I'm underlining on the screen right here. And I want you to read that, but use your own answer in there. So tell me the answer you got.
90 millimeters equals 9 centimeters.
There you go. 9 millimeters equals 9 centimeters. Make sure on the side you show me how you figured that out. I know that there are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter, so I could take 9 times 10 equals 90. Make sure you show me how you figured that out. I want to know how you did it. So make sure you have that 9 times 10 equals 90, if that's how you did it to figure out. Make sure you have 90 right here, millimeters, equal sign, 9, and centimeters right there. All those things should be there. On the next one, I'd like to have someone else read it. This time, I'd like you to have, who will read it today?
Reagan.
Reagan, go ahead and unmute and tell me what you're going to read. I want you to read number 4, please. Reagan, make sure you can unhear me. Let me see if I know you're having a little bit of troubles here with connecting. It looks like you should be in there. Reagan, if you can't hear me, or if you can hear me, make sure you unmute your microphone. And go ahead and tell me what's next. What are we going to read for number 4? Okay, so you've unmuted, Reagan. Do you want to? Let's see. Reagan, you might be having some connection issues here, so let me go ahead and go with someone else. Go ahead, Ms. Church. Carter, do you want to read number 4, the question for me?
Which student lives closest to school?
Great, thank you, Carter. We're going to go ahead now and look at how we can write that as an answer sentence. So let's have one person tell me their answer sentence here. Not the actual answer, but just the answer sentence. What would you say would be someone?
Baylor.
Baylor, I want you to go ahead and unmute your microphone and tell me what is the answer sentence that you would say here for number 4. Baylor, looks like you're in the house right now, so make sure that you can hear me. Boys and girls, if you can't hear me, you're having connection problems, I understand, but if you can't hear me, make sure you unmute your microphone and make sure you're right there with me so that you can answer the questions that I'm asking. So, Baylor, I noticed that you're here, but you may have connection issues. I know it's been going in and out, so it's okay. Let's go ahead and pick someone else so we can move forward with this.
Jace P.
Jace P has actually got his, I see him. Jace, you want to unmute, put your hand down, and then go ahead and tell me what the answer sentence is?
The student that lives close to, oh, wait. The student that lives closest to school is blank.
You could do that too. You could have that one. The student that lives closest to the school is blank. I'll write that one in. You could also say blank lives closest to school, but I'm going to go with yours. The student that lives closest to school is blank. We're going to go ahead right now and the person here, now in order to do this one, we're just going to compare those decimals. The good thing about these decimals is that they're all lined up, so I don't have to do the sum, which is probably a good thing. So I'm going to just compare the decimals by lining them up and looking at the place value here in the tenths place, so I can see which one is closest. And closest means that it's the one who's got the smallest decimal here. So go ahead and tell me which student lives closest to the school.
Gabby.
Gabby, you want to go ahead and tell me which student lives closest to the school?
The student that lives closest to the school is Karen.
You're right, Karen. I guess after talking to the manager, Karen lives closest to the school. So let's go ahead and we'll put in here Karen. All right. Let's go ahead and put the student that lives closest to school is Karen, and we'll put that in there right there. All right, we're going to go ahead now and move on to number 5. Riley, do you have a question?
I said Karen lives the closest to the school because she lives 0.45 miles away from the school.
I like that. Using a because right there. I would say, Riley, if you did a because like that and explained it, give yourself an extra credit star right there. That's a really good job of explaining to me how you know your answer. So I think that deserves a star for extra credit there. If you did the same thing, boys and girls, give yourself an extra credit star too. We'll start using those next week when we take to look to see who's got 100% on their papers. All right, let's go on to number 4 now, or number 5. I think we're going to start here with number 5. I have a little bit, you know what, I don't want to squish. So I'm going to go over to the back of my paper and I'm going to write answer. And I'm going to put work in here. And Riley, do you have a question still? Okay, we're going to go ahead. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on now. We're going to put number 5 here. Ms. Church, who should tell me what number 5 is about? What are we doing for number 5?
Allison.
Allison, you want to tell me what we're doing for number 5? Could you read it for me?
Yes. Round the nearest thousands to estimate the sum of 2,378 plus 6,709.
Thank you very much for doing that. What we'll do is I'm going to put an answer expression in here like this. I'm going to be putting 2,378 plus 6,709, and I'm going to use the wavy equal sign. That means we're going to be estimating today. We're going to be rounding that. So we're not going to add it so it's exactly adding. We're going to round first so that the answer, we can find the answer easy by doing it in our heads. That's really the main reason we estimate it. So it's easy for us to do in our heads so that we don't have to add it all the way step by step. So it's just to make it a little bit easier for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my first number, which is 2,378. And on that one, I'm going to go ahead and write it down here in my work. 2,378. I'm going to use the wavy equal sign to show that I'm rounding. I'm going to round to the nearest thousands place. And on 2,378, I'm going to round that to what place value?
Casey.
Casey, I'm going to round it to thousands. How would I round 2,378 to the nearest thousand?
Can you hear me good?
I can hear you great.
Okay, good. You would round that to 2,000.
Yep, you got it. We're going to round that to 2,000. Nice job, Casey. And then we're going to do the same thing with 6,079 or 6,709. We're going to write that down here. So I'm going to write 6,709 or 709. You got it. I'm going to do a wavy equal sign. And I'd like you to go ahead and tell me how we round that to the nearest thousands place. Henry, you want to go ahead and round that for me out to the nearest thousands place for me?
Yeah, the nearest thousands is 7,000.
You got it. 6,709 is going to round up to 7,000. Good job. So I'm going to have that rounded up. Oh, now it's super easy for me to add in my head. I don't even have to really do much math at all. Just 2 plus 7 is 9. Add my 3 zeros. And now I know that my rounded estimate is going to be 9,000. Check mark to show me that you did your estimating on this side. Check mark to show me your answer sentence expression on the other side. If you did the estimate of the sum, that's fine too. Jace P., you have a question?
I estimated in my head, and I put the sum is about 9,000 because I estimated.
And I want you, and that's what most people will do when they're estimating in their head. The only problem is I want to see how you got that estimate. So if you can, or you should, make sure you write down what you did here. Because remember, I'm not a mind reader, so I want you to be able to show me how you did that. Okay, Jace?
Well, I also did add them up, but I didn't show how I estimated.
Okay, and you did exactly right. I thought you said you didn't show anything here, and I was going to say, just make sure you do on your work side. But that's fine if you did it that way. Totally fine. All right, we're going to move on down here to number 6. And tell me what we're going to be doing with number 6 for me, please.
Aiden.
Aiden, do you want to read number 6 for me?
Yeah. Use the commutative property to find the unknown number in the equation. 35 times 70 equals m times 35. You
got it. Great. We're going to use the commutative property to find the unknown number in the equation 35 times 70. Let me go ahead and pull that back up again. I had to close out my dock camera. So thanks for reading that for me. We're going to go ahead and just pull it up here, and then we'll get that started again. It froze up on me. So thanks for writing that up, or thanks for selling it to me, Aiden. We're going to go ahead and, all right. Let me get the dock camera going here, and then we'll start, because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. It's a little difficult if you can't see it. So let me go ahead and pull that open. Super important to do that. All right, let me go ahead and just close out. It looks like we have being used by another app. So I just want to make sure I have it in here correctly. All right, there we go. Oh. Go ahead and get that together. We're just have a little bit of a dock camera thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and read these answers out for you until I pull it up. Let me take a look right here and see if I can do one more thing to make it work. Sorry about this. I just kind of have I'm going to quit out of everything, start again, make sure it's ready to go. Open up the app to make it going. All right, there we go. Now we're back to normal. All right, so we're going to go on number 6. Aiden, thanks for reading number 6 to me. I'm going to go ahead and the commutative property is super easy. So all you're doing is switching the numbers around, or the letters and variables around, so that we can find the answer. It's actually super easy. So we're going to say here m. That's what we want to find out. And if you notice right here, since we're already have it listed, 70, and we know we switched the 35 around, we know that m is going to have to equal 70. That's what the commutative property means, that if we just switch the numbers around, they're still going to equal the same answer. So if 70 is here and we switch it around, then this m has to equal 70. So my answer here is m equals 70. Let's go ahead and we'll go quickly to number 7 so that I can give you some time to work on your Friday spiral math. Let's go ahead and read. Let me pull up number 7, then I'll have someone read it for me. Go ahead and read it for me, please.
Macy.
Macy. Maisie or Macy?
Macy.
Macy. Macy. Could you go ahead and unmute your microphone, please, and just go ahead and tell me what we're doing for number 1 or number 7, please? And let me zoom out a little bit so it's a little bit easier to read it. There we go. Macy, are you there?
The Book Loft's 3 most popular books are Mary's Lamb, Bee's King, and Cat's Meow. How many more copies of Cat's Meow would the bookstore sell in 1 year than Mary's Lamb?
Thank you very much. So my answer sentence here is going to be, and you can say it this way, the bookstore, make sure you use the word bookstore in your answer sentence, and it would be would sell blank more copies. Make sure you have the words Cat's Meow than Mary's Lamb. Check, make sure you have all those words in there. Macy, do you have a question? I'm going to go ahead and just go through this next part here. The bookstore, you need the word bookstore in your sentence. You need the word sell more copies of Cat's Meow. That's the bare minimum. If you said than Mary's Lamb, that's even better. But the bare minimum is bookstore, sell more copies, Cat's Meow. Make sure you have those in your answer sentence, boys and girls. Allison, do you have a question?
Yes, I did. Cat's Meow sold about blank more books than Mary's Lamb.
And that's as long as you got those keywords here, sell more copies, Cat's Meow. They can be in a different order. That's totally fine. One thing I want to remind you, though, is be careful of the word about, because we're not using an estimate here. The about is actually only if we're going to be estimating, and I don't see about in there. But otherwise, it's great. Let's go ahead. Mike, do you have a question?
I don't have bookstore in mine.
Did you say they?
I said Cat's Meow sells blank more copies than Mary's Lamb in a year.
That'll be okay. I like the word bookstore in there just because it's asking you how would the bookstore sell them. So just including that adds a little more detail to your answer sentence, but it's not wrong. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to solve this one on the other side here. We have to do first finding out how much each book sells in the year. We don't really have to care about B's. That one actually is one that we can just ignore. We don't have to pay attention. I'm going to cross out B's knees. The ones we want to worry about are Mary's Lamb, and we also want to look at Cat's Meow. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and first find out that Cat's Meow sold 160 books per month. And it looks like we're going to multiply that 160 times 12. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply that out. 0, 12, carry the 1 is 3. Put down a 0. This is 160. Then we're going to have 0, 2, 9, 1. So we have 1,920 as our answer for how many copies of books that the Cat's Meow sold. So I'm going to check mark our work, boys and girls. Make sure you've done that too. Allison, you have a question?
Sorry, I forgot to put my hand down.
No worries. Jace P, do you have a question?
On the last one, I didn't get it. The answer is 70.
It is 70, Jace. And we'll have these also posted in the recording too if you miss anything. We're going to go now. The next thing we have to do is take a look at Mary's Lamb. That's the next one book we have to figure out how many copies they sold in a year. Mary's Lamb sold 67. So over here, I'm going to be taking 67, and I'm going to multiply it by 12 to get the number of books that Mary's Lamb. I got to admit, these don't sound like very exciting books, but maybe they're better when you actually read them. So we'll see. 7 times 2 is 14, carry the 1. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Then I'll drop down a 0 in the 1's place. 67 times 1 is 67. Now I have 4, 10, carry the 1, 6, 1 plus 1 is 6. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 6 is 8. So now I have 804 books sold by, or Mary's Lamb that was sold. Since clearly Cat's Meow was the bigger number of books sold, that's what I'm going to be using for my subtraction. And let me go ahead and zoom in on that so it's a little bit easier to see here what I'm going to be doing. So I'll take that 804 and I'm going to be placing it right underneath the 1,920, and I'm going to be subtracting. 10 minus 4 is 6. I borrowed 1 here, so it becomes 1 minus 0 is 1. 9 minus 8 is 1. I'm going to put a comma down, and I'm going to leave the 1. So it's 1,116 copies. That's what I'm going to be using in my answer sentence here, boys and girls. I'm going to be taking that 1,116 that I subtracted here, and I'm going to put it right here. The bookstore would sell 1,116 copies or more copies of Cat's Meow than Mary's Lamb. Let's go and take a look at number 8. Jace, did you have anything else you wanted to say, Jace P?
I got 93 more copies because I didn't do multiplication.
Okay, Jace, what I'm going to do right there is I would say that's probably either a reading error because you might put it down that you didn't see the part about how it's sold in 1 year. So what I would do if it's something where you read it and you're like, oh man, I should have remembered it as a year, you would put reading. And that's what I'd probably do on this one. Because your calculations were okay, they were just for a different directions that you read. So whenever I read something, and it has happened to me many a time, when I read something and I don't see some parts that I should have put in there, I label that mistake as a reading error. So, and there's the part we missed right there, was that words where it says 1 year. So that's the part we needed to do. And since this is books per month, we need to multiply everything by 12. So, and it's okay if you make mistakes. The best thing to do is label it just to remind you of what happened on that one. All right, let's go ahead and go on down to number 8. Okay, and let's see. This is almost like a tongue twister. Rita reads the same number of pages each month. How many pages will she have read after 3 months? Since we're running a little short on time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just give you the answer sentence. Check to make sure that you have this answer sentence. Number 8. And let me see if there's any other people other than Rita in this problem. Oh yeah, there's Juan and Allie. So I don't want to just say she, I want to say Rita, because I want to make sure we know we're talking about Rita in this question. So for my answer sentence, I'm going to go ahead and put Rita. Make sure you have Rita in here. That's very important because we have other people here. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'll say, let's see, Rita will read or will have read blank pages in 3 months. I don't really have to worry about Juan because Juan isn't part of our question, so I'm going to just ignore Juan. Sorry, Juan. And I don't really have to worry about Allie because Allie's not part of our question. But I do want to look about Rita. Wow, Rita reads a lot. 2,104 pages per month, and that's just in 1 month. Our question's actually for 3 months. So I'll be going over here onto my paper, and I'm going to take that 2,104. I'm going to use that 3 for 3 months, and I'm going to multiply those two numbers together. So I'll be taking 2,104, and let me go ahead and zoom on that so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to take 2,104. I'll be multiplying that by 3 and getting the number of pages she read in 1 month. 12, carry the 1. 1 times 3 is, or 0 times 3 is 0, so 1 more. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. I'm going to be putting a comma right down here. So now I have 6,312. So Rita will read 6,312 pages in 3 months. I want you to make sure that you have your work right here, check mark, so I can see that. I also want to make sure that you have your word Rita, pages 6,312, and the words 3 months. Gabby?
I added stuff after. I just put because when you multiply 2,104 times 3, you you would get 6,312.
And that counts as your work for this one, Gabby, because that's the same thing I did right here. So yeah, that definitely counts as showing your work on that one. So nice job. We're going to go ahead right now and stop with our recording. What we'll do at this point is I'm going to give you a little bit of time, about 8 minutes. We're going to turn the meeting off after I'm stopping the